Good evening, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and call to order the regular meeting 1 of the Swatara Township Board of Commissioners. It is 7:10 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. Secretary Savage, could you do roll call, please?
Commissioner Douglas.
Here.
Commissioner Rye. Commissioner Connolly.
Here.
Vice President Steele.
Here.
President Ellis.
Here.
Madam President, you have a quorum.
Thank you. And this board did have an executive session prior to the meeting to discuss potential litigation. We are up to item 6, visitors' requests and comments. If you have comments, please come forward to the podium, write your name and address down, as well as state them for the public, and then you may begin your comments.
Brendan, I don't know if you're there, but I lost everything. No audio, no nothing.
Okay, let me know if you can hear the public speakerphone.
Deborah Knowles, 6080 Harker Drive. What regulations have been put in place or are being worked on to protect the residents of Swatara Township against the data centers? It is only a matter of time until they submit their proposal, since they have now purchased the land. Are you going to require them to use an independent power source to save our current power grid from overloads? What are you going to do about the large water usage that can cause water shortages? Because if they use an evaporative water cooling system, they will require a large amount of water up front to start it, and periodically a 20% usage to replace the water that is evaporated. Using potable water is not unreasonable to ask for. And how are we taxing these data centers? How much can we expect? Any answers?
I have a few answers.
I've been watching in the press a lot about this, a lot of questions about data centers all over the country, and those are good questions. And the general answer is there's already regulatory bodies in place that look at each of those issues. So let's just take them one at a time. On electricity, some data centers are generating their own electricity. This one, or these in our township, as I understand it, and I don't have a complete understanding, are applying to use grid power. So they make an application to the electric company, and then the PJM grid, which handles the whole, it's the independent operator for the entire multi-state grid, looks at the request and does a multi-month study on whether there's enough power to supply their projected demand and whether any upgrades are needed for the facilities themselves that serve it. The Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission handles and always has handled the rates. And I think there's a very conscious effort on the part of the regulators to make sure that the demand for the data center power does not result in increases of rates for residential customers. They're very, and even before data centers, they were always very vigilant about making sure that increased demand doesn't result in a negative effect, an increase in residential rates. On the water side, some of them use a lot of water, some of them use hardly any water. It depends on the technology that the particular data center developer builds into their plan. There's evaporative cooling, which uses a great amount of water. There's very miserly water cooling that takes little tubes of water directly to the chip and recycles the water a good bit, and it has very little water loss and therefore demand. The area here is served by a water utility that's again regulated by the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission, and I can assure you from my life of work there with the PUC that again they're very vigilant on the water side too about making sure that water rates don't go up. One interesting thing about water is the economics of it. Water systems are built for a certain capacity, and the economics are such that if you add customers to a water system and charge them regular rates, the cost actually per customer can go down, because the incremental cost of providing, the next 1,000 gallons of water to a customer is actually cheaper than, the first part of it. So if you have a system that runs at 50% capacity and then you add another 25% of capacity, it's now running at 75% capacity, and it's more efficient. So the cost of utility service, oddly, maybe counterintuitively, goes down per customer as you add additional capacity. Now, as far as where the water comes from, we have the Susquehanna River Basin Commission in this area that looks at the demand for water and whether it's returned to the aquifer or not. And if it's not, that's consumptive use, they call it. And they also have hydrogeologists. I know one very well. They study this stuff very intensely and ask, where's the water going? Are you returning it to the ground, or does it evaporate, or does it get treated and come out at the wastewater treatment plant? And if it's not returned to the local aquifer, then they charge consumptive use fees to the user of the water. And then they use those fees to basically bolster upstream dams and water retention to make sure that, a good amount of water remains within the system. So all of those things are sort of taken care of by existing mechanisms. So it's not like, a data center is a more intensive user of both electricity and water, but not so far outside the experience of the regulators that they don't already have policies in place to handle those. That said, I did see that the Pennsylvania House was introducing some legislation like other states have to potentially pause the development of data centers to make sure that the questions that you have are answered adequately. So if that happens, then there will be probably more study and more kind of statewide policies. But I think by and large, the existing regulatory agencies are equipped to handle those questions. And if it turns out there's not enough electricity or there's not enough water, then that'll be caught in the planning stage. Taxes.
Does that include water pressure? Because I know that we have issues with water pressure sometimes being very low in the area at certain times of the day.
Yeah, the water company will do studies and determine what additional facilities might be needed, and the developer will be required to install those. They do actually very highly detailed scientific modeled pressure studies with water systems to see if the pressure will be negatively affected. And it's the opportunity for the water company to actually get the developer to pay for a lot of upgrades. So a lot of times, these are opportunities for the wastewater system to be upgraded, the water system to be upgraded, the electric system to be upgraded, all at the expense of this new user who's causing the need for all those upgrades. I just want to answer taxes briefly. That's a area of big interest, especially to school districts and municipalities that host these things. And I think smart municipalities and school districts welcome this because it can be sort of life-changing amounts of tax revenues and an increase in the tax base. Specifically, the county assessor will ascribe to a finished data center, just like a casino, what the value is. And there's different ways to do that: the income method, the comparable sales method, the construction method. They'll value the building, and let's say they value it at $100 million. So that then will be the assessed, that'll be the basis for the assessed value at the county level. And just like you get, a tax bill about this time of year from the county assessor with your stated assessed value on it, they'll get one too. And then whatever our township millage is, and whatever the county millage is, and whatever the school district millage is, gets applied to their tax base, and it generates money. So you can see the spaceships are coming.
Well, you hit the jackpot when you said casino.
Yeah. Speaking of casinos, you could see, I always say it's like having 10 casinos, basically,
Yeah, but
because
you don't know how much
it's
one
similar.
casino brings in, so you can't
Well,
say
yeah,
that.
sure, you do. Yeah, you can check the tax rolls or call the county tax assessment lot. There's a gigantic casino in East Hanover Township, Dauphin County, that generates a tremendous amount of tax.
Because when they had that meeting here, and someone said about 10 casinos, we said, how much does one make? And they couldn't answer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the math. Well, I'll tell you what happened there.
So it's-
The state came in and said, instead of all of that tax money going to the township that hosts it, we're going to cap the amount of revenue by state law that the township gets. So in East Hanover Township, for example, they capped it at 2 times the prior annual budget of the township. They said you can only double your revenues, and beyond that, basically, we the state lawmakers don't trust you to handle that much money. So they capped it, and then it all goes to half of it goes to the state, half of it goes to the county, and then you hear those county gaming grants.
Right.
It's redistributed by the county to not only the host community, but other townships as well.
Now, another thing is, if there's a fire, and they use these, the batteries that they use, they can't be put out in using normal methods, the water and all this stuff. They have to use special stuff, and even the one girl that had shown up, Molly, she said that you have to let them burn out.
Yeah,
You know,
so
so do
I don't
we
know
have
that-
anything, is there anything that they could do to boost up our fire department, that if that happens?
in the land development process, that's where you identify what some have diesel generators as backup power. Some have these big flywheel apparatus things to keep the power flowing. Some use batteries in some respect, but it's at the land development plan point of the process where you would bring up the concerns about fire safety, and I'm sure there'd be a lot of testimony there. Another example from East Hanover Township, because I used to represent them when the casino came in, that was an opportunity for the developer there to provide a lot of enhancements to the local fire department, and a lot of the gaming grant funds were used to enhance fire protection and that sort of thing. So again, if they're adding burden to the community, it's only fair to ask the developer, I think, to address that in some way. But I don't think we do it procedurally until we get to that state.
Okay.
These are good questions, and it's natural that everybody has them, and I try to do my part just to try to demystify it a little bit. I think sometimes people oppose things before they take the time to try to understand the process, so I commend you for asking the questions early.
Thank you. Do we have any other visitors or questions and comments at this time?
My name is Joanne Siebert, 799 High Street in the beautiful village of Bristler. This is going to be a personal note, and I realize some of you out there in TV land don't like personal things, so you might want to step out for a cup of coffee or juice box, because this is going to get a little personal. It's only because of a posting that Commissioner Conley made at the last remark, at the last meeting. I made a remark. I stayed home and watched the Dog and Pony Show instead of coming here. And I made a comment on the comment section of the meetings. And someone responded back to me, and I responded, and they came back, and we went back and forth for a while. And it wasn't until Christine Zubek made a comment that I realized who I was debating with. And after they basically called me a racist, I realized who was, and it was Commissioner Ellis's husband or her whatever. So 2 days later, I went in the site to post another comment. That was concerning an observation I made about the new female commissioner at the 3 meetings that she attended. The total time of her comments for all 3 meetings was a total of 39 seconds, and I wanted to make a comment of that. Then I realized all the comments from the person that I was commenting to had been removed. Only my comments were there, which may not have made much sense except for Commissioner Conley posting this comment, and I'll read it verbatim. Joanne Siebert, you told me about the racism and provided names of many racist neighbors. I give you credit for being honest. The information you provided about the theft of the Bristol Fire Company was passed along to the authorities. There is a good chance your information helped to bring someone to justice. Thank you for identifying so many racists and thieves. This is a comment of a pathological liar. You don't have any problems calling anybody of us liars. Well, I'm taking it back on you. This is a complete lie. I want to know the facts behind this that made you post this. I want to know who you're referring to and the time frame, because this is a defamation of my character, and I want the facts behind these comments or a public apology. Whatever rolls around in your brain and comes out, you figure is factual. Well, this is so blatantly lying. The only conversation I had with you and Commissioner Steele was last year around this time, and it took me to ask for a private meeting because I didn't want it to bring out in public. So I asked for a private meeting, and we met, and the only thing that we discussed was the inflammatory statements about a situation that didn't even concern the township in any way. You broadcasted it, these statements, township, Dauphin County meeting, and even a local TV station, so that all through central Pennsylvania, this issue was brought up. You have no problem publicly criticizing someone's addiction, and that's what it was about, a family and the addiction. When of all people, you and your family should be more sensitive dealing with addictions. In addition to the fact that this matter was a private matter, it did not involve township or township monies. It was just a petty, vindictive move on your part, which you are pretty good at. I asked for a private meeting, I got it, I stated it, and that's the only part of the conversation that I was to support that family as they're being run through the media for absolutely no reason when it had nothing to do with the township. It hasn't stopped because now only thing you can do to down people in Breslau is apparently me. Try to besmirch me because I won't shut up, sit down, and just pay my taxes. It won't do you any good, hardly, because Breslau doesn't even know me anymore. I haven't been involved with the fire company for the past 23 years since it went to my former spouse after the divorce. Everybody in the people in the fire service and the fire service. He even tried to turn my family against me, which I think probably you're trying to do, but that didn't work either. So there's nothing new to me. I got through that, and I'll get through this too. So as soon as I get my apology or for this blatant lie, will I get one? I doubt it. And at this point, being that it's Lent, I have to move and figure that I must, and during Lent, it tells you to forgive your enemies. So I will do that, but it would nice to get a apology for this blatant lie that you told about me. Thank you.
Do we have any other visitors requested comments at this time?
Good evening. My name is Brad English. I am a homeowner at 571 Swatara Street. I actually like coming to this particular meeting. This is my second time, and it seems like we need some love in this area. It's making my job a little harder here. But actually, as a homeowner in this township, if there's anything that I can do to assist in this area, please reach out to me. I want to be a part of this area. I've been a homeowner for 6 years, and I never really came to these types of settings, and I'm learning a lot. The politics, the things that's going on in our community, it's really important. I'm actually trying to get my wife to actually come to these things. But I'm also here also for my football program, Tri-CU Sports. We are a 501(c) nonprofit that's dedicated to empowering local youth education, sports, and community engagement. I'm actually out here seeking your support for our 2026 season. Our organization proudly serves our youths from 5 to 14 from the Central Dauphin East School District, providing opportunities for athletic development, mentorship, and community connection. Many of our young people in our program come from underserved areas and rely on Tri-C to access or to have access to structured programs. In the 4 years that I've been with Tri-C, we actually got helmets, shoulder pads, all types of equipment. We've been trying to get lights. We need more lights. And this time we actually want to put our focus on our cheer program. Our cheer program has really brought a lot of excitement into our program in the last 2 years. Actually, even last year, there was a couple games where the crowd was checking out the cheerleaders instead of the football players. So we want to actually show them that we need them, because they actually helped us get some of the stuff that we have. So we want to kind of turn it back on them. I actually attached something for you guys to have. It's our mission statement. It's the actual sponsorship letter that we have in our 501(c). So again, as the last person who was here with me, Jen, we did take a look at those uniforms. The total cost of a uniform for the top and the bottom is $102, and we need like 100 of them. And if we can get those for this year, our 2026 girls will be in new uniforms, and we'd be in a good position. And like I said, thank you again for taking your time out.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll get copies and share with everyone. Yep.
Commissioner Ellis.
Yeah.
Commissioner Steele would like his information.
Okay.
We could grab his number.
Okay.
I'll make sure that it's in touch with
Yep.
them. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other visitors' requests and comments at this time?
Good evening, Mary Klaus, 447 Pritchard Court in Chambers Hill, and I'm the president and a firefighter and emergency medical technician at Chambers Hill Fire Company. And I'm here representing the fire company tonight in my capacity as the president. Last meeting, I came before this board and asked for a letter in writing by February 25th about what bills the township is taking care of for us and which ones they're not. The reason I asked for that date is because we had a board of directors meeting this week, and I had hoped to have your answer and to discuss it. As I mentioned then, we were surprised to find out that our firehouse in 2026 had gone 7 weeks with no insurance on the building. And we had worked with our insurance agent from a different company that we arranged to insure the company-owned and company-used utility vehicle. And we had him start to draw up a plan and kind of have it on standby if we needed it. But we didn't know we had needed it by then. And we do have the building insurance in place. Today, something else happened. Today, we had a visitor at the firehouse from UGI delivering a shut-off notice saying that if the overdue bills are not paid by March the 9th, that the service will be shut off to our building. And we can't even get the information on these bills because they're not in our name. Our treasurer went to try to find out about the electric bill. When she contacted PPL, they said, it's not in your name, we will not give you the information. And we don't even have a bill here. He does tell what is owed as far as the overdue amount, and which comes to $1,077.21. We have been waiting for the Swatara Township Board of Commissioners to make a decision on this. We do believe that it is a decision should be made by the elected board of officials who represent the people of the township rather than the appointed fire chief about what the bills are going to be. As you well know, the fire company met for a year with the fire chief, 1 commissioner, 2 civilians about trying to help the Chambers Hill Fire Company get stronger. We, like fire companies all through the region, the state, and indeed the nation, do not have enough volunteers. We do have some volunteers, but nowhere near what we need. No one else does either. We have tried hard to remedy this. At one point, we had 14 people that said they were going to help us out. We had a meeting at our station. People committed to run with us and to work with us. We shared with them the performance improvement plan that had been drawn up by the committee that had met with us for a year, and they felt they could not fulfill the requirements of it, and people just didn't want to do it. If we had followed that plan and followed it all the way to the end, by the end of the plan, we were required to have staffing of our people, volunteers, 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's 60 hours a week. I know nobody, and I found nobody that has an extra 60 hours. And if people are working, they work 40 hours a week, they drive to and from work, even if it's only a half an hour, and you add that to the 60 hours, that's 105 hours. That leaves you each day 9 hours to eat, sleep, do your housework, and do life things, and nobody had that kind of time. We checked with the other fire companies in our township, the other 2 companies, and they both said they had no such requirements to do that much. And the people that had on this committee said, well, we're not expecting you to do all that right away. The first step was getting the volunteers, and we weren't able to do that. Although we tried, and we keep opening the door and welcoming people to do that. Later on, the township attorney sitting here drew up a memorandum of understanding with no input from us, in which the township agreed to put some firefighters in our station and staff it if we would give the township a lease and control 40% of the building. But under that agreement, we were told that only the active Swatara Fire Rescue members could go in, meaning that our treasurer, our financial secretary, our steward, our board members, and even you wouldn't be allowed in because you're not an active member of Swatara Fire Rescue. My board unanimously turned this down, and consequently, the agreement never went through. We only have a few firefighters, and we do standby every week. We go on calls when we're standing by. We do events ranging from fire prevention to helping at public appearances. And we've repeatedly offered to do pre-plans for the township. Every week when we're doing our standby, we'd like to go to businesses. We even drew up a form that we could use to do pre-plans. And this week we heard from the fire rescue that they are trying to revamp doing some pre-plans, and we again volunteered to help with that. But our immediate need is to get this situation about the bills solved so that our utilities are not turned off. I come to meetings, every meeting, and I know it's not a legal matter and it's not a personnel matter, so it wouldn't be something in the back, and I have yet to heard the commissioners discuss this, and I would like to have the commissioners feed into this. Now, Greg Miller, our in-house fire chief, and I have been meeting weekly and talking about it. And we actually want to meet with Chief Iverson. We came up with an idea we think we could, a small idea, but we think that we get a start. But we're good people in our fire company. I know that some of our people are not liked by some of your leaders. We have very good people. And sometimes you might not like everybody you meet, or you might not like everybody, but we're here to serve the community. And so we should be looking out for the good of the citizens of not just Chambers Hill, but Swatara Township and all the people we serve. And so we would ask for your support and ask for your understanding as we try to get this thing solved. And we need to get this thing solved right now. So I'm going to give you a copy of this.
Thank you.
Our company has a long and solid history of service. Like all the volunteers around, as I said, we do not have everybody we need. But we're not dead, and we're here to serve the people, and we're asking for you to support us and understand that. Get to know our new commissioners, get to know us. I think you might learn a lot and like knowing us too. You'd be welcome to come to our station and sit down and talk with us, as well as I think the other commissioners know us fairly well. Thank you for your attention, and please let me know immediately what we can do about this situation.
Thank you.
I got it, dude. It's like taking mom's trash out. I couldn't resist that, buddy. Mike Farling, 620 Rutland Drive. I'm here for the same reason Mary is. Madam President, can you give us any answers to this? Why we're getting no communication? Because we can't pay bills we don't know about. And that's the dilemma. I personally had to come up to the sewer authority because we got a bill that was in arrears. How can I pay a bill if I'm not getting it? You go from one office, walk across the hall and pay the bill, but yet we're getting arrears charged to us because it was late. I paid it. Didn't argue with him. But I'm the one that was there today when the man knocked on the door and handed me the bill for $1,100. Well, $1,077. And I went, I thought it was the water bill again for the 6th time. I'm the one that answered the phone call when PP&L called and said, you're in arrears. You're going to get shut off. We don't need this. You don't need us coming in here harping on you. All we're asking is, if you're not going to do it, you guys have to change it. We can't change it. We've tried calling and getting information. They will not talk to us. Our name isn't associated with the account. It's just our address. So we can't change it. So if we want to change it, just do it. But if you want us to keep paying some of the bills, that's much appreciated. But please make sure they're getting paid, because right now they're not. And that's a big issue. I mean, the fact, I'm glad I've settled down since I found out about our insurance not being paid, but a month and a half, you let a building go without insurance for a month and a half, and then call somebody in to talk to them. Come on, politics is not that bad.
The only thing that I'll say is we do have correspondence with regard to the insurance where it was stated that the fire company would be taking that on. If you want to talk about it in public, we can do that. I would advise having a conversation not in public because it's going to contradict the things that you're saying. So
I'm willing to sit down with anybody that's willing to talk to me. Absolutely. I'm not here to yell and scream. I'm just saying, let's get this thing figured out once and for all.
Correspondence was sent to us that is in writing via email that contradicts some of the things that you're saying. So again, if you'd like to have a conversation about that, we can do that. But for the public, I don't think it would be good to air that out.
Is that just for the insurance though?
That is for the insurance
Okay.
portion of it. I can't speak to any of the other things at this time because I've not been made aware of any of that
I
other
understand.
correspondence.
Just to be
So-
fair, it was related to everything, starting in July, that you would transition all the bills to, whatever you wanted. The insurance went for a year. So to be fair, we decided that we would pay any bill, it was paid. So we didn't prorate it. So we paid the insurance for the year, but I personally and the chief had correspondence with people that represent you that said, they appreciated that in July and August, and they were working with the insurance company to transition it. So we're the most shocked people to find out that months passed and you didn't have insurance on your building after we were put in a position where we were told that us paying the bills was not acceptable anymore. So any bill that was a monthly bill, you should have been arrangements made for you to pick it up. So gas, that would have been your bill starting in July. Insurance and stormwater, we paid all the way through, and everyone that has a property or is using the things would know that. And like I said, there's been correspondence back and forth and discussion. So after Mary came up at the last meeting, I didn't air it out in public, but the chief sent information to all of us that directly contradicted and explained the story that from your side, you were doing this work to get the bills in your name, because we couldn't say who your insurance company would be. So there's things that you had some personal responsibility in, and you're coming here saying that you didn't take that. Maybe you didn't know, but from July and August.
Let's set aside the insurance for right now.
Okay, yeah, well, that was the main.
Public utilities. You can't change my electric at my house,
Right,
right? I have to do it.
right.
The bills are in your names. We can't change that unless you guys effect the change.
That portion of it, that
and switch it
conversation
over.
can take place
Yeah, we
because
can-
I don't know.
I'd love to be involved in the conversation. I really would.
If you're designated by either Greg or Mary to be in the conversation, but we can't, the same reason that you're saying we can't do things, they're represented.
I understand.
So I'm fine with that.
Understand.
So that would be a simple thing, an email from them saying that you'd also like these explanations, and if they approve that, we can send you back the information that we have.
Because I think we only have 3 outstanding bills. I don't know who's paying them, or nobody's paying them.
Yeah.
Gas, electric, and water.
We-
Because everything else we're paying,
Okay.
as far as I know. I mean, the sewer taxes, the cable, the internet, we got that. We got that.
Yeah.
I jumped through hoops, but I got it done.
I'd like to say something.
But I can't do this. Yes, sir.
I'm confused here because obviously I didn't know much until Mary brought it into public light. But I'm hearing 2 different things now from the Chambersville Fire Department, and I'd like some clarity here. On one hand, the first statement that was made, if I'm recalling properly, is that the township's not paying your bills and they just arbitrarily cut you off, and it was blamed on Commissioner Connolly. But on the other hand, now I'm starting to hear that you have taken on your own bills, and this was a conversation between your leadership of your fire department and Commissioner Connolly, and that was okay. And we're at a point where you have taken over some bills, but you haven't taken over all of them, but you want to take over all of them.
I'm not saying,
That's where I'm confused now.
okay,
I guess what was actually taken, what was the position of Chambersville Fire Company? Because it seems like now Chambersville Fire Company, all the while listening to your conversation, Mike, that you had all intentions of paying your own bills.
no, that's not what I'm saying, Shane. I'm saying if the township's not gonna pay these bills, we need to get them transitioned. If the township wants to continue to pay these 3 bills, that's much appreciated. We are paying some of our own bills. There are bills in our names, but we cannot transition the utilities into our names without you guys stepping up and doing it from your end. That's what I'm saying. And if those 3 bills want to stay with you guys, I have no problem with that. But then they got to stay up to date too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm about, let's get some clarity here and decide what it is that is actually going to take place. But I think Chambers Hill is a major player in this, and it seems like there might be some confusion even within the leadership that we need to clarify. And I think if we get that clarified, we'll be fine. But I'm interested to know what was actually said, what was agreed upon, and what is the pathway moving forward.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's all I want to do is move forward. Move forward with no more late notices. No surprises, that's all. Whatever that may be. Whatever it may be. If the township helps, again, much appreciated. And if it's all on us, then we'll deal with it. But I do think we need to get it ironed out, and I'm sure Mary or Greg will give you permission or give notice to you guys to allow me to be a mediator with it.
That'll be fine.
And again, I'm not here to raise heck. I'm just want to get it fixed so we quit getting all these shut-off notices, that's all.
And if there's a step that we have to take for you to have your property set up on utility bills, we'll gladly take it. But I mean, this is the first I heard that. We thought you had transitioned it in for those bills. I mean, you're having fundraisers, you're heating a building, you're having events there, and that's a bill. That's like a social hall.
We have tried, Tom, with the utilities. We've tried to transition. They will not talk to us
we'll work with you
because
to
the name's
do whatever
not-
we have to do.
None of our names are on it, so they won't.
Right.
Makes sense.
But and I wasn't aware of that. It was your building. We were paying the bill.
Right.
So you're saying when it went our way and we were paying your bill, there was a process that worked. But when you said you were going to pay the bill, the process didn't work because we had to do something, and we'll do that.
Yeah.
We didn't know that part. We just assumed it was your property, it was your bill, you're setting your thermostat,
Well,
you're
they're
you're
still
using
coming here.
electricity. Yeah, we'll get
The
it.
bills still come here, but they're not being paid. That's the issue. Because I told the guy, I said, change it and I'll pay it. He said, I can't. He said, you have to call. I said, it's not my name. He said, I don't know. He said, you got to get your name. You can't change it without having, you can't change it if you're not the owner. So
Right,
that's
and we're
why
not
I'm
the
here.
owner, so we thought that the owner would be able to change this. But we'll get it straightened out. I didn't know that this was going on, but from July bill to now, I think you certainly would have expected that you were paying, like the utilities, the gas, the electric, the insurance.
But we got nothing because
Yeah.
we don't get bills.
I got
you guys
you.
got all the bills.
Right.
They haven't even.
But I mean,
reported
you
us.
were turning on the lights and you were using the gas.
Yeah.
So
It
so
was
now you
still-
got the bill. So
it
we'll
was
get it.
working.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
Nothing ever got shut off.
Didn't
We
know
got
it.
notices, but
I'm glad you came to explain this.
I don't want to waste any more
Thank you.
time. But I think we understand each other. I just want to simplify it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good, yeah, good.
First of all, Mr. President, I do recognize Mike Farling, and he can come to these meetings to represent us to talk about the paying of the bills. He is the one that's in charge of our building. So on the emails and stuff, when we talked and there was talk about us taking over the bills, I recall, and I believe I even emailed saying we could probably start things in July, but I was waiting for you, the Board of Commissioners, to officially do it and for us to get a letter in writing, saying on this day, we're going to have you pay this, this, and this, or whatever, and let us know. And then the transition has to be, as Mike Farling said, made because they won't answer our calls. If they say we are overdue an electric bill, but we don't know how much it is, and they won't tell us when we call the electric company. My treasurer has been trying to get this thing solved. So maybe, as President Ellis says, we do need to sit down and talk about this and try to get it fixed. But the immediate thing is the natural gas bill that needs to be fixed immediately.
Got it.
I would hope we could get a little bit of support of some sort from the township. We're not as strong as we once were, but we're there and we stand by and we try to go to things. We serve as the township's, this whole area's place for emergencies. I'm glad we didn't need it several weeks ago and we had that big storm, but we have set up and we were prepared to take in anybody in the township that needed a place to stay because of a loss of electricity with all the storm and stuff. I mean, we are players in the township service. So we just need to get this solved because we can't have the utilities being shut off. And we need to know if we are going to pay, the commissioners need to talk about this and come up with a decision on it and let us know and somehow release the bills that we're supposed to pay if we are, so that the companies will tell us how much is owed. You don't have, like if you didn't get an electric bill, you wouldn't know how much you owed, so you couldn't pay it. Or a water bill or a gas bill, and that's the predicament that we're in.
Got it.
Thank you for listening, and thank you for also listening to Mr. Farley.
Yep.
Brendan, if anybody's talking, I can't hear.
Not yet.
Commissioner Still. Michael Tucky, 5875 Gensmer Lane. President Ellis, do we have the results back yet from the 2024 audit?
We have, it's just like preliminary results. Is that
The draft, final
the draft? We have the final draft. What'd you say? Quality control.
Yeah.
It's pending quality control review, and then as soon as we have it, we'll release it.
Okay.
But we did get, that was within the last week or so that we got the final draft.
Okay. I understand what this board's saying right now, but this has been going on for more than since July, with bills not being paid properly on time. I mean, for you have this shit, 6 water shut-off notices. They don't shut off your water if you don't pay one bill. And to have 6 of them throughout that period of time, there's been an issue for quite a long time. It's more than just what's trying to be stated tonight. I mean, Chambersville Fire Company's been there for 71 years. I still believe, as I stated last year and the year before, they need some help with part-time paid firefighters up there so we can keep it going and try to rebuild. That's what I've been requesting. That's what I've been asking for. Mary's correct. She's asked several times last year during meetings about having clarification of exactly how the board felt. And constantly it was pushed aside. It wasn't stated it was no vote taken. There was nothing. So to try to make things sound a certain way, it's all well and good to try to do that, but in all honesty, it's not exactly like it's being put out tonight. And Mr. Conley, Commissioner Conley, I would suggest you might want to think twice before you start texting and tweeting stuff out there, and really think about what you're putting out and making sure it's factual and true. Thank you.
I'd like to answer on the, I did read that it's an 84-page draft audit. It will be approved and it will be made public. There were some changes to the way the audit goes, and all 3 audits were done together. But ironically that you're at the podium, one of the changes was corrections made to the 2023 audit. So that will all be shared. And the comments that it was delayed, for the public, we don't do the audit. It's an auditing firm that does it. And obviously it wasn't completed in June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And you were on the board at that time, and you were waiting just like we were waiting. So I could have asked you repeatedly, where's the audit? But I didn't do that. But I just want to be clear with Mary did ask questions, and we're getting to the point where I'm not going to say everything in public, but these were the kind of questions that were asked. What company is the vehicle insurance? And then the answer from Brittany or Mike, VFIS, and provides a phone number. What's the annual insurance premium for these vehicles? $1163. Yes. What company is our building insured through? Same as above. How much is the building insured for monetary value? This is on the paperwork I sent you. The first 2 pages have that information. What is the cost of the annual building insurance, God bless you, premium? It's lumped in with all our buildings we insure, so we don't have any way to break that out. So we were insuring the township, you're insuring your building, so that's information that you had to decide what your coverage was going to be, what you're going to use it for. These things were all answered. What's the deductible if we ever file a claim? It was $2,500, and we would have paid that when we were insurance. But that's another choice for you. We wouldn't dictate that. We're not getting that deep into your, your future situations. How much liability is included in the coverage? We had you insured for $10 million. You might want to insure yourself for $20 million. We don't know. So we answered all the questions. Does the policy include workman's comp insurance? No, we carry that for us. So if you have people working there as employees, however you handle it, these are all decisions you'd have to make. And then it says, may we please have a copy of the building insurance? And it says, this is attached to the documents that I sent you. And then, it goes through the whole thing. And obviously that was from Mary, and it was redlined with the answers. But this was a follow-up from multiple emails that started in conversations in June, July. And this email is sent from Mary's personal email. I'm not going to say what it is, to Mike Iverson here at the township. I'm not on it. Mike went to the, he went to the trouble to get these answers, and this was sent at 2:02 p.m. on August 5th, 2025. So to come back a couple months into the next year, and I understand it, it could be confusing, and we will offer whatever assistance we have. But it was clear after the vote that you didn't want us to pay, not you, but in general, didn't want to pay 40% of all the expenses and cover the insurance and all those things, that you had decisions to make as a fire company and things that had to be done. And transitioning your utility bills and your insurance, and then finding out in a public meeting that you didn't do that, yet you were holding events and doing things. I'm not sure that that was really supposed to be meant for the public, but it's asking for the conversation, and the things that were asked for were prior bills. This is what I'm just going to say the first name is Sarah. She was identifying herself as the secretary, and she says, number one, PP&L. We need the March, April, September, October, November, and December of 2024 bill information and all bills paid in 2025. It's obvious the conversation had happened with the key players and the decision makers. How that was passed out to the public, the neighborhood, people on a board, I don't know. But it came into the fire chief and Brittany here. I was made aware of it in my role as public safety chair, but I didn't make any decisions. This was after the decision. So the next thing is UGI. We still need a February, June, July, August, October, November bill, 2024. And then it goes on, and all bills paid in 2025. So this was prior to the last one. So the arrangements were made, the conversation was had, and all I can say is it's kind of shocking to me that we paid that bill for the rest of the year. We didn't, we've done everything right and fair and contributed and supported. And then when it got to be time to do the things that were going to happen, they didn't happen. And we've had people come to the microphone asking why it didn't happen. And this is just part of an email chain, an ongoing thing, and a conversation. So it's really, I just don't know that this is the place to come in and say, why are we behind on our electric, our gas? Maybe you're behind on food for events. Maybe you're behind on other things. I don't know. I don't know any of it. You know more than that, and then you're coming here and presenting it as if there's another side to it or somebody else could fix it. So we will work with you. Mike had some, if this is true that we need to do something to let someone know that you own the building you own, and you want, we'll do that. But I didn't hear that before, tonight. And, when you said that you weren't really interested in having us pay in the summer, to come back into the, we're almost in the spring of the next year. You talk about confusing, I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, sir.
And I'll say this, Mike Tucky, you continue to come to the microphone and I value your opinion, but at some point, I'm looking for some sense of intelligence, some sense of truth, some sense of common sense to show up, and it's constantly absent every time you come to a microphone. And it just reminds me that, you know, for every action, there's going to be an equal or opposite reaction. And the things that took place in 22 and 23 are the results, which was opposite that's happening in 24 and 25. And we were put in a situation where, you know, essentially you made a decision the way you govern that put us in a deficient general fund. So to come now as if something has changed, and if you understand government and expenses and revenue, you would understand that this is not something that changed overnight, and we're still going through our struggle because of the governance in 22, 23. So if you're the person to be the arbitrator of the facts, I'll deny that, or either not even ever take opinions as far as how to govern, because we've seen that. We have proof of that. So, you know, the staff is working diligently, they're working hard, they're cutting costs, and we're making it. So, you know, for you to continue to whisper to the public or whoever that may be that that is not the case, I think you need to fix that. And I think you need to fix that as soon as possible.
You know what, Shane Steele, Commissioner Steele? You are the last person to tell anyone about common decency or anything. I don't have to be taken from a public event that was a township event after you went and tried to drive your township vehicle, screwed up, drunk. I mean, this is ridiculous. You want to go at me? Sir, you have no idea. This is sad.
Did you say I was drunk in a township vehicle?
This is so screwed up.
Did that guy just say that?
I am.
What did he just say?
I tell you what, we will have everything out shortly. 22, 23, we didn't create this mess. And it's going to be proven. So you can say whatever you want, but it's not factual and true, and we know it.
Do we have any other visitors with questions and comments at this time? All right. We're going to go on to item 7, a motion to approve the agenda. I'll entertain the motion.
We do the motion second and discussion here, Scott?
Just make your motion
Why
to.
don't you make a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda and add an 11A, which is appointments to boards and commissions that I don't see on the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Do we need any discussion with regard to the motion for the agenda? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved with the addition of 11A, appointments to boards and commissions. We're up to 8, a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda.
Motion.
We have a motion. I'll second. Do we have any discussion with regard to the items on the consent agenda?
Just a quick question for the chief on B. This is a conditional offer, and there'll be some steps, and then if those steps are met, then we move forward.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And do you have any idea what the timeline to complete the steps would be?
It would be completed within the month.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Do we have any further discussion? Well, since we're here, Chief, would you be able to give, just for the public, so that they know what the half-de-half marathon thing is?
The Half-y-Half Marathon is put on by the YMCA in Harrisburg. It's a half marathon event. They do this every year. It crosses over multiple roadways. During the course, it only crosses over a Swatara Township roadway one time. And so at that location, they just need some assistance providing protection for the runners from the police department or the fire police, however we work that out.
Thank you. All right, so we had a motion and a second. We had some discussion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we're up to 9, consideration of minutes for February 4th and February 11th. I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion at this time?
We're entertaining a motion, and he said second.
Oh.
Oh, I think, well, then I'll make the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second for approving? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Now do we have any discussion? Thank you, because I didn't realize that. All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we're up to item 10 for the Building and Codes Department. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Director Golden.
All right, thank you very much. My comments for A and B are the same. It's the same applicant. So at your meeting on January 14th of this year, you forwarded these applications for zoning map amendments to the Township and Tri-County Planning Commissions for review and comment. They have since then provided their comments. At this stage now, it's time, if you so desire, to set a public hearing. We will post the property, we will mail letters to the affected property owners, and then we would also put an advertisement in the newspaper. We are recommending a public hearing and then vote on April 8th.
All right. I will make the motion to approve and advertise the public hearing for April 8th. Do I have a second?
Second.
2 seconds. Coin flip. Do we have any discussion or questions with regard to that motion at this time? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. And that's going to be for A and B.
Okay. So C, this is, I gave a presentation at your last meeting. This is an amendment to modernize, consolidate, and eliminate redundancies within our code. This ordinance, if passed tonight, will repeal 9 separate chapters, which I discussed at your last meeting. This has been properly advertised and is ready for adoption tonight.
All right.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion and a second. And then again, just for the public, this is to eliminate areas in the code that are essentially null and void due to the MPC already covering those instances, which we are bound to follow anyway. So it's just cleaning up the code that we have on the books, essentially. Do we have any questions or discussion at this time?
Just by way of discussion, I appreciate the work you do, Zach.
Thank you.
I mean, it's anytime you can trim out any regulation or redundancy, makes things run smoother. So thank you for taking the time to do this.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have anything further? All right. Hearing nothing. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. So that's going to be ordinance O-2026-2, I believe. That's what I'm going with? Okay.
That sounds right.
All right. We are up to 10D, consideration of time extension for minor land development at Rutherford Lot 234.
Yes, this time extension was requested by the developer, and I also requested it. We need a little bit more time to review the plan, and also I'm unable to attend the planning commission meeting this month, so we're going to push it back 1 more month, and they need some more time as well to clean up some comments. We're recommending approval of the time extension.
All right. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion. Oh, second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? All right. Hearing nothing. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right.
For this month, we had 2 financial security reduction requests. The first one is for 6400 and 6418 Dairy Street. That is better known as Dairy Street Grocery. And also 1015, 1017, and 1019 Chambers Street. This is for 3 single-family dwellings. They met the requirements, some of the requirements of their financial security and asked for a reduction. So we are required to reduce. These were recommended by our engineers.
Thank you. So I'll entertain a motion to approve E and F.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. And I know Vice President Steele, you always add this, like conditioned upon, final review of the codes department. Yep. All right. Do we have any discussion? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So items E and F are approved.
And then, Madam President, item G, I'm going to defer to Solicitor Weiland.
Thanks. Item G is approval of an agreement with Triple Crown Corporation and its special purpose entity there to resolve some disputed land development issues. It's been worked out through special counsel and is ready for approval tonight.
All right. I will. Go ahead.
I make a motion on the settlement agreement and release.
And I'll second. Oop, go ahead. That's fine. You got the second. Do we have any discussion at this time? No. All right. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. That settlement agreement is approved. We're up to item 11, approval of a change order for Bishop Park. I'll make the motion. Do I have a second?
Second. Shane got. He's on delay, so he's.
You're good.
If you
That's
hear
fine.
the echo.
And Manager Trafco, would you be able to give just a brief explanation for the public with regard to this change order?
Sure. So the contractor had found that there was more topsoil on the site than what was in the geotechnical report. So what that basically created was a shortage of fill material that they could use for some of the work that they needed to do. So essentially this change order is for them to strip some fill from the phase 2 part of it, use it in phase 1. That being said, there'd be some additional costs in phase 1, but the thought by the engineers is there'll actually be a reduction in phase 2 because they'll already have stripped some of the land and graded it, accordingly. So I think it said they needed like 2,300 and some yards of fill. They have that on site rather than export fill in or, do it that way. They could actually get it from the site and just transfer it over, if that makes any sense.
It does. Thank you.
Yep.
And then for the public, the cost of this change order is $53,843.81. And as Manager Trafka said, hopefully it'll be equal amount that is less when we get onto the second phase for this project. So we have a motion in a second?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any further discussion at this time? All right. Hearing nothing. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right. That is approved. We're up to item 12, visitors' requests and comments. As before.
11A.
Oh, 11A. I'm sorry. I wrote it, but I didn't read it. We have 11A, appointments to boards and commissions.
I became aware recently of an opening on the Swatara Township Authority that needs to be filled, and I'd like to nominate Jack Harlacker for that position.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion with regard to that appointment at this time? All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. I do have some.
Good.
I have something for boards and commission, real briefly. The Central Dauphin School District had an opening. It's unrelated to us, and I see we have a member of Central Dauphin School District Board of Directors with us tonight. Congratulations on your new role, Mr. Goddick.
All right. So we'll go ahead and move on to item 12 now, visitors' requests and comments. As before, if you have comments, please come forward, write your name and address down as well as state it for the public, and then you may begin.
Tonight is three things: some action from the board about the situation with the bills, a reply in writing to our request about that, and if we are going to pay some of the bills, we do not have the legal authority to transition or to even find out how much we owe, because they won't answer our questions when it's in the township's name. So those are the three things I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other visitors' requests and comments?
Good evening, Justin Braddock, 3703 Rutherford Street. I had one major thing, but one other thing beforehand is many of you know my son is in Scouts, and they just recently kicked off their camp card sales program. So if you need one, you can reach out to me, or if you see a Scout going door to door, feel free. They're still only $5. It's a great value. You'll often see them outside of shopping centers too. So it's a great deal, and we're doing the same program this year for first responders as well. Secondly, for years, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years now, ever since the whole Chambers Hill thing started with the fire company, do I believe Chambers Hill needs firefighters up there? Yes. Do they need a truck? Yes. But we have 2 new commissioners, and when you make decisions like this, you have to do it 4 S's: safely, securely, sustainable, and sensible. So I say that they need that stuff, but then they also come up here weekly, monthly, yearly, and rag on the chief. We don't hear complaints from the other township firefighters about him and the decisions he makes. He takes the information they provide him. We pay for a data service, his computer software. He makes decisions off that and his experience. More than likely, they're right decisions. So when he feels it's right to put stuff up there, it's probably going to be the right time to do it. And listening to some of the comments tonight and the stuff, and I'm not going to touch on utility bills because I don't know. That seems to be, from a layperson like me, it sounds like there's a miscommunication issue. But with insurance, my question as a taxpayer is, I know Commissioner Zubak in Kentucky said in the past, what's the problem with putting a fire truck up there now? We need a fire truck. Why can't we have a fire truck up there now? My problem is the groans we heard the other month when we want to purchase 3 fire trucks. It's $1.5 million piece of equipment that's going to be sitting in the building with a couple $100,000 of equipment on it. And there's no say of who has access to that building if we don't control a lease or a rental agreement to that. So until that's in place, nothing should be up there. When we can't control who has access to that, why would we put that at risk? It's a lot of money, especially with the financial condition of the township. Something gets damaged, vandalized, robbed, whatever the case. And now we hear there was a lapse in insurance. What if we did have expensive piece of equipment up there? and we find out something happened, there's no insurance on it. Who covers that? Chambersville Fire Company? Because that's probably going to hurt them financially. The township, it's going to hurt us financially. I mean, I don't know whose fault it was, but that's the things we have to look at before we make decisions. We can't just jump to conclusions and put stuff here and put stuff there. I mean, there's a lot of money sitting there. For instance, you have equipment sitting up there and a tornado comes through the township. People think, oh, that's nuts, a tornado doesn't go there. Well, hell, we just had one in the township in the past year. Does damage to the roof and damages that. Damages said firefighters paid employees of the township that they went up there, which they should be up there if we have a rental agreement in. But if they're in that station when the storm hits and they get injured, no rental agreement, who covers that? Workman's comp? Township insurance? The Chambersville Fire Company insurance? Nobody knows. Nobody in the public knows. These are just questions I've come up with in the last hour. And lastly, with no agreement in place, we can't have nothing up there again, because the other month, I believe Mary said that somebody slipped and fell up there.
Outside.
Yeah, outside in the parking lot.
I can't say where it got made.
Was it on the property?
Yes.
If there's no rental agreement in place and we put paid employees up there, what if that was a firefighter coming in for his shift and they slipped and fell? They busted their head. You're an attorney. That's not going to be cheap. I'm sure there's going to be a suit. I mean, there's lots of things before we just willy-nilly make decisions. I mean, financially, that's a big one. It's a very litigious society now. And right now, we can't afford it as a township unless there's something in place covering our own ass. I hope they do get it someday. The time's just not now. And I don't understand the politics of it, of why an agreement can't be reached. I mean, they have agreements for everything else. And I'm sure if myself or even you, Mary, want to rent out that hall up there for a wedding, a retirement party, whatever, you name it, an event, you're signing a contract, correct? You wouldn't just rent it out and have anybody in there, would you?
It's not a contract.
Exactly. So why would the township partake in that without a contract? So until something's in place, let's just stop the complaining about putting stuff up there. Get that agreement in place. Until then, nothing goes up there. I mean, that's just common sense.
Thank you. Do we have any other visitors' requests and comments at this time? All right, we're going to move on to 13. This is on every agenda. If you have stormwater violations, you can reach out to us and we can get them investigated. We're up to 14, commissioners' requests and comments, additional business and correspondence. Commissioner Douglas?
I actually thought it was going to be quick tonight. That's what you get for thinking, right?
That's true, yeah.
All right, so thank you for everyone coming out. I know Tom may say a couple of words on this. I'm kind of stealing a little bit of your thunder here because I went first. On February 28th, 2026, the Swatara Police Department with the K9 unit, K9 dog named Soul, and his handler officer, I'm messing this up. Say that again, please. Kieselowski. Thank you. I'm going to mess it up again. Okay. Credited skills and observations during arrest. They end up helping the Stilton Borough apprehend a suspect that stole a car. The chief of Stilton Borough, Chief Shalky, sent out a personal thanks to our police department and our chief. That says a lot. My wife is huge on watching, even when cops came out with Bad Boys. So when I told her this, she just jumped for joy. It's like, you don't even know the whole story, but it is exciting. And thank you very much. Round of applause to the police department. Thank you very much. I would like to also touch on the complaints system. Anyone within the township or anyone within the corporation of Swatara Township working directly, can anyone explain to me, or if someone out here knows, what are the steps to the complaint process if someone were to file a complaint? Okay. As the chairman of HR, I ask these questions because I'm slowly gathering a lot of stuff. I don't know if you don't know this or not, shouldn't be a secret. You're establishing at Swatara Township your first HR department. So there's a lot goes into that. And from my experience, I've been in these types of waters before. And I can tell you it is not pretty building an HR from ground up. We're getting there, and I know that question was directed at everyone, but it's also directed at myself. Okay, and we're going to iron this out, and we're going to get that to you, which something should be followed up, which is called a follow-on session. I owe that to all of you. Okay. I wrote down a lot, but I'm not going to go through everything. But I definitely want to touch on Mr. English, your request for the cheerleaders. Okay, everyone don't beat me up for what I'm about to say. I'm about to call out another township's name. I used to live in Susquehanna Township, and I was a cheerleader coach for the Susquehanna cheerleaders. And as Mr. English stated, at some point in time, there are going to be winter games. And our young ladies, they were freezing because there's only one uniform, and the uniform they get fitted is the spring uniform, as you know. They came out with the big coats on as much as they could to get warm. Didn't happen. They will huddle up, and when it's time to cheer, they took it off and they cheered. And like Mr. English said, it sometimes gets to the point where the audience is actually watching the cheerleaders and not watching the game. It was just for me to be there with them. It hurt for my cheerleaders to get onto the field and they're seeing the teams across from them from another township, the proper seasonal uniform. It hurt. And they turned to me and said, why can't we have pants? It's a lot of things. I can't answer that question right now. But it did not stop their spirit. They ended up actually out cheering every township, even Hershey, in their performance. They did it in the cold, the rain, the freeze, the hot. They did it. But that doesn't mean they should go unnoticed. They're out there. They may not be hitting with the pads. They may be dribbling with the ball, but they're exerting just as much energy. So I get it. Whatever this committee can do to brainstorm, knock their heads together to come up with something, that'd be great. And your words have not fallen on deaf ears. Again, thank you everyone for coming out. I will be looking into all of this. I have never gotten into the second page of notes, so I have them. Thank you very much for coming out, and please drive safe tonight. Thank you. Oh, sorry, fire. I'm gonna leave you out there. Thank you for all you do. Okay, we hear it. I hear the sirens. My son wakes up at night. I heard the sirens, Dad. Okay, cool. Go back to sleep. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Commissioner Connolly?
Thank you. First thing I'd like to say is Commissioner Rye was selected to officiate a national taekwondo tournament that's being held in Las Vegas, Nevada. So it was an honor for her to be selected. There was no way tonight that she could do that and be here remotely. So she attempted to do it, but not having control of the schedule once she got there, it didn't work. But at the same time, I'd like to congratulate her for getting that honor. And then I'll segue into this. we're all citizens of the township, and we put in a lot of time to try to run the township to the best of our ability. And it's been my experience over the years, there's many people that like it, and there's some people that don't. But that's what we do. So on any given night, meeting schedule, we make it a priority when we can, but sometimes people miss. Commissioner Steele has things that take him out of town. We all do. He was able to get on tonight. As long as we have 3, we do have a quorum, and we conduct the business. The meetings go on. But for Mr. English, I'll be in touch with you. Commissioner Steele is the recreation chair. I have a lot of years, I think I mentioned this to you, involved in youth sports. The majority of them for with Tri-C. So, I have some ideas, and I've been in your spot. I had many more people in the program than I had, higher expenses. So I had more people to pay for uniforms, officials, insurance, and all those things. And, we always did that discount for a family. And, just the number you put out, just say it was $100, and then they had 3 in the family. We would make it, half price the rest of the way. So now I need to come up with $300 worth of uniform, but I'm only going to charge that family $200. So, between sponsorship, fundraiser, donations from possible other groups, I think I have something that can help you. I multiplied your number by your number, and I'm going to tell you right now that we don't have over $10,000. I think you know that. But anything helps, and we're committed. And it's not just you; it's all the youth programs and sports and things like that in the township. We want to see them succeed. And what Commissioner Douglas just said, I experienced a lot coaching sports and running programs in the tri-community area. We would travel to places, whether it was girls softball, boys baseball, football. I ran a basketball program. And we would see facilities that were much better than ours. But I was always proud of the effort we put out, and we were very successful. But at the same time, we fought for things within the school district, within the township, facilities, and then we, go to bat in the community. So, I saw what you did. I've been following. I appreciate it because, these youth programs and communities come and go, and the children keep coming. And the reason they go is because the finances and the adults that, either give up because of finances or aren't committed. So the fact that you're committed is commendable. And then Mr. Bradnick was up there speaking. I just want to be clear. If we were still involved at Chambers Hill in their finances, there would be no lapse of insurance. And if we had equipment up there, there would be no lapse of insurance, and people would be covered. And when they say it was an employee that fell, it's going to be the tax collector that they have some type of arrangement. I don't know if he pays to use the building, but just to be clear, the township and all of our facilities and locations is going to have insurance. I think you heard the $10 million liability. So I don't want people to think that there was some problem either. The township, insurance would or would not cover. The township insurance would cover all the places that we do insure. And the questions we had about the data center, it was pretty broad. I think they were good questions, but they really weren't necessarily for this body. So I appreciate the solicitor jumping in there. And I will say this, those are a lot of the same questions that we have. And the township, if you see in the news, Swatara Township moved quicker than just about anybody else to put protections in place and define the areas where the data centers went. I see what's happening in communities. They're concerned that a data center is going to come into a spot that they think isn't the best spot or isn't the right spot, and they want to defend it. They want to be protected. To be clear, in Swatara Township, we're required to have a location for every use on our zoning map. we felt that the board felt that the best places for the data centers, if they were coming, and if they don't come, that's fine too, were away from population areas on larger tracts of land. And that's why there was 2 rezoning areas. One was over 228 acres. I think the other one encompassed close to 200 acres. So those protections were put in place early, and any other protections that need to be put in place, things that we need to do, we'll follow those steps. Just because you hear that a data center is coming to one area and it's a bad thing, I don't know that all those circumstances are equal in every community. And then I want to address what I think is the state of the township. It's obvious we have some unhappy people that will come and express their unhappiness, and they're allowed to do that. But I'm just going to go down the list right now. As a commissioner, a resident, a taxpayer, somebody that's been involved in youth sports with my children, other people's children. I still go to sports programs, things in the community. But for recreation, we're looking at possibly $5 million of upgrades to our parks in the township. Lots of money being spent, and the majority of the money so far has come from grants. So you're going to see improvements all over the place. Some are going on now. When the weather breaks, we have contractors, our employees, they're out working on the parks now. So hopefully by spring and summer, you're going to see a lot of improvements, some upgrades, brand new park again this year in the Chambers Hill area. So, I'm proud to say that I think we're doing a great job, our staff, and it's everybody on this, because when we're putting in a piece of playground equipment or we're working on a park, we have to follow the rules for stormwater, handicap accessible things. So we do all that, and we have an incredibly talented public works department that can save us money on work that they can do that we would have to pay a contractor. And you're not going to know the difference between the work. I mean, they do incredible work. We have an incredible police department. We're four canines that we didn't have just so many years ago on patrol, and a 5th that's a therapy dog. I was going to touch on the incident that Commissioner Douglas mentioned. We all did get that letter from Chief Lacey in Steelton thanking us for our support. There's times where we thank Steelton or Harrisburg or neighboring municipalities, but there's something that happened in the last 10 days, and I'm not going to get too deep in the details, but we had a missing youth, and we had a found youth, that were both huge problems. We found a child outside in cold weather, and our police, through information they received throughout the day, went door to door in the area that they thought was the best possibility, and they located the place that the child came from. I don't want to get too off on anything specific about the child, but the child was not communicating. Don't know if the child couldn't communicate. 5 years old, outside in the township, couple calls, was picked up, taken to the hospital, and our police found where that child belonged and resolved the situation. At the same time, we were dealing with a missing child that was a little bit older in another jurisdiction, but good police work here tracked that person's location down with other police departments, including the FBI and a major city police department in the Midwest, and resolved that. And they got, thanks and praise from both families. And I don't know that we really put out too much details about anything. And this is in a week. These are things that happen in a week in Swatara Township. So we have an absolutely incredible police department. Please thank all of the members of the police department, everybody that's involved in these things. I'm going to go down this list. We have an emergency medical service contract with Life Team. I don't know of another community that gets the transport to the hospital and ambulance free for residents of Swatara Township because of a deal that we cut and money that we pay. Unheard of. Okay. Does anybody else have it? Like that you know of? No. Okay. So I was with about 10 members of our fire rescue yesterday at a private school in the tri-community area for Career Day. They were absolutely incredible with a large group of students. They left there a little before lunch. And shortly after 4 o'clock yesterday, they were called to a structure fire with fire coming through the roof and out the sides, multiple sides of a building in Steelton. And with other mutual aid and everybody, they did a great job, but it was some of the same group that was at the school with those students that was the first in on that fire. And the report that I saw from the chief, we had, the number was 20? I think that's what you put between fire, police, and fire in that range, responding in another municipality. I'll tell you right now, we have great firefighters. We have great fire police. They do an incredible job here in Swatara Township. They get there quickly. We are moving to a professional model, and we're paying right now part-timers so that they're out the door. And as much as I supported Chambers Hill and will continue to go to fish dinners and things like that, the amount of firefighters that they have there really was dwindling to the point that I believe we had 2 after we heard Mary shaking her head yes. So we had 2 firefighters. Mary's one of them. She dedicates a lot of hours. So we did put a requirement on, and Mary mentioned it. And that 60 hours, that's a lot for one person. That's a lot for 2 people. But if they had the 14 people, that's a little over 4.5 hours a week. That's somebody coaching cheerleaders at a game. That's somebody going to a football game that has, doesn't even have the Smurfs, but has the peewees, the ponies, and the midgets. And I'm not minimizing that. So Mary's right that, for individual people to put in 60 hours, but it's a fire station. And one of the requirements in that PIP, which was an improvement plan, the improvement plan, was to be able to get to 10%. The early figure was 10% of the fires in their box area. That's low. I'm just going to tell you, that's low. If they could get out 10% of the time, but with Mary and Greg, they couldn't. So by not activating, their response and having people out, we're getting to the fire in 4.5 minutes. Sometimes it took them longer, and other home responders more than 4.5 minutes to get to the fire station, to open the door, to get the apparatus and go out. So I understand there's some personal things of what people would like to see. Safety, response time will always be number one with me. And I am a civilian that respects the chief and the 78 firefighters that we have. Okay, and Mary and Greg from Chambers Hill are 2 of the 78. But, hearing these things week after week of what we need to do and what we should do, I think it's excellent. And I'm not stopping at 3 minutes tonight. I think you figured that out, because I've heard a lot of things. The Public Works Department this winter has been out clearing snow. And I have family that lives in many of the neighboring municipalities. My mom has lived in the same home in the city of Harrisburg for over 54 years. So I travel to check on her. I have brothers and sisters. I have many godchildren that I go visit. And our roads are always consistently the best. They are clear. They're salt down when we have ice. They come out when it's the right time to come out. We hear a little bit of complaining, but for the most part, people recognize that around the community. And I know people that will exit in Swatara Township to get closer to a place in Lower Paxton, Hummelstown, rather than go on 322 sometimes or other highways. So we do a great job. And thank you, Kevin and Brendan. Let everybody know they do an absolutely incredible job. We have an incredible admin staff. They cover all these things and they do it seamlessly. And at the same time, I think we have an incredible board of commissioners, and I thought we had a good board of commissioners before when it came to being out in the public, going to public events, talking about the positive things that we do, listening to the things that we could do better and trying to improve it, taking constructive criticism and making improvements. And I'm going to wrap it up with this. We're going to have a lot of litter that is visible all over this township. We have windy days, we have businesses, there's all different reasons. And this year, just like every year for at least the past 15, we will have an Earth Day cleanup, and that will clean up the worst of the worst. And that's in April. But as the weather gets better, We will do cleanups and we will work with the public. And if somebody wants to do one in their neighborhood, our staff will do it. We have other groups that do it. We're interested in solutions. Every year when the snow melts, we'll hear the negatives about litter, and I like it the least of anybody. I have participated in well over 200 cleanups in the township in the last 15 years. And the reason the township has those 4 cleanups is because I came up with the idea. So it's going to be the Earth Day, then we do a back to school cleanup, we do the Day of Thanks, and we do a Martin Luther King Day cleanup. We have had hundreds and hundreds of people come out and clean up. And I don't know the answer. I can't follow every vehicle to see if somebody drops litter, if it blows from a business dumpster, if it comes from somebody's trash, if it comes from the railroad, the highway. All I know is that I'm going to be out there cleaning it up. And I would appreciate any help that we get. But at the same time, if your role in that is to point out that there's going to be litter in places, we know it. We'd like to address it. We see it in other places too. And I'm just going to wrap up by saying, I'm happy I'm staying here. I'm happy I'm in the township, whether I'm an elected official or not. I'm staying. I'm going to participate. I'm going to continue to do good things. I'm going to help the people that want help. And I will sit here every meeting and be the target of whatever you want. But when you start saying that bills and things weren't paid, when I have staff members behind me or people that work here during the day that have answered those questions and have worked with you, and you're coming here for some type of effect to make something look negative on me because you think I'm a politician or I'm worried about it, bring it on. But let's not lie about our staff. Let's not say they didn't do something or something's not right or where's the audit that they don't control. We're doing a great job. We'll do the best we can. And I apologize for not going longer tonight. Okay, I'm not going to apologize for as long as I went. I could go longer and say more good things about the township, but I'm going to stop right there. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Vice President Steele.
Just like to thank everyone that logged on and spent the evening with us in person. That's it. Thank you. Have a safe travel home.
Thank you. I'll be brief as well. I just want to say thank you to all of our first responders, fire, police, public works, fire, police. You guys always do a fantastic job keeping Swatara Township safe, whether it be with keeping the roads clear, responding to emergencies, making sure that traffic is controlled, all of that. You are appreciated, so I just want to make sure that I say that. And I'm going to address some comments that were made on social media last month that had to do with my kids. So at the last meeting in February, my kids came here after my son had gymnastics. They came up here and sat with me for a few minutes. We lost my mother in January, so they've been having a hard time. They came so that I could tell them good night, give them a kiss, because I wasn't going to be able to put them to bed. One person that's sitting in the audience tonight and a couple others on social media took it upon themselves to say hurtful, inconsiderate things about my kids being here. I just want to make sure that it's known that I don't appreciate it. I am a mother first. If anyone has anything to say with regard to my children, make sure you're here in person to say it to me so that I can take my commissioner hat off, put my mom hat on, and then we can have that conversation. So for everyone that is in the comments that is negative, be aware that if you say anything that has to do with my children, you will get a response from me. So I just want to make that clear for everyone that's here and everyone that watches these. My kids have been here before. They've sat up here before. They will be here again. So if that's an issue for you, don't watch, turn it off, look away, because they will be here. So that's all that I have to say. I will go ahead and entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned, 8:54 p.m.